I think what you're referring to is Spencer Pratt criticized
It's
sort
not
of
just Spencer Pratt.
the timing of this, saying that this was kind of misleading because that permit was already issued before the fire even happened.
Yeah. Well, that's actually not accurate, but Spencer Pratt is deliberately not accurate. But I was not just referring to him. There are several people who deliberately put out misinformation.
Make sure you go to verdictbourbon.com to get the best bourbon on the market. The guilty is 6 year. The not guilty has a hint of brown sugar. Same mash bill, I mean, it's the same base bourbon. We just add a little brown sugar to the not guilty. Best bourbon on the market, especially for the price point. All you got to do is go look at the reviews. We have 19 pages of 5-star reviews. Go look at it and see what everybody else is talking about. Go order you some bourbon today. Hit the link here. You can pause it, freeze it, verdictbourbon.com. Spencer Pratt. Now, I don't know Spencer Pratt. I heard that he was a reality show star and he was a douchebag. Now, I don't know that to be true because I don't watch reality TV. However, he seems to have a really good campaign going. A lot of people that talk about him seem to think that he's a really good guy. Maybe he was just doing that for TV, or maybe he is a jerk. But it's better than Karen Bass. That's all I got to say. But his campaign videos are pretty impressive. And if a person that's not a leftist nut can actually win the mayoral seat in L.A., that is a game changer. A big city like L.A. having somebody that's reasonable. You ain't got to be conservative. You just be reasonable. Because New York, I lost the opportunity by getting Mom Dummy. But let's get to a Spencer Pratt's ad, and you tell me what you think about it. I think it's pretty awesome. Roll it.
This is where Mayor Bass lives. You notice something? Or here, where Nithya Raman's $3 million mansion sits. They don't have to live in the mess they've created where you live. This is where I live. They let my home burn down. I know what the consequences of failed leadership are. That's why I'm running for mayor. For my sons and the rest of us Angelinos that want to stop these corrupt politicians from destroying our city. We are going to get the golden age of Los Angeles back.
Now, I don't know who in their right mind don't think that's a great idea. Who don't think that that's a great idea for somebody like that to run L.A.? It's like they want to fail. But anyway, Dan Bongino had something to say about it too, which I tend to agree with Dan Bongino's take on this because I don't know Spencer Pratt at all, but I can't say he's running a good campaign. Roll the clip.
I don't know Spencer Pratt well. He's running for mayor of Los Angeles. I don't know him at all, actually. And I don't know what his internal politics are. I just know he's been through a lot with the fires in Los Angeles. He's running for mayor, and he's running an insurgent campaign. And this, I'm going to tell you something, is one of the top 5 most effective political ads I think I've ever seen. Why? Because it gives you a good guy and a bad guy in 30 seconds, and the imagery paints a contrast. I don't know the guy. I remember him from the reality show. I'm happy he's right. It takes a lot of balls to put your name on a ballot. Good for you. That is one of the single most effective political ads you'll ever see. Contrasts. The imagery of the $1 million mansion, the drone footage, giving the wide view of this guy and his house burned down. He's living in a trailer on his front lawn. I know what that's like. I lived on a trailer in the front lawn in Wantagh. You lived in a trailer in Long Island? Yeah.
So that's Dan Bongino's quick take. I want to make it quick and brief so we can get through this. Fox News is our next clip. So we're going to play Spencer Pratt's reason why he's running for the mayor's spot in L.A. Roll it.
Let's bring in the man running for L.A. mayor, former reality star Spencer Pratt. I mean, whenever you hear Gavin Newsom bragging about the Palisades recovery, it's got to boil your blood a little bit, Spencer.
I mean, anybody that lives in California is well aware of how terrible he is at dealing with fire recovery. Look at Camp Fire, Paradise, 8 years later, 70% of that city is dirt lots. So it's not surprising to me that he's failed all the Palisades victims. What's interesting is yesterday he was crying on TV, but he wasn't crying for any victims. He was crying for himself. He never cried for the 12 people that burned alive due to his state park nuking everybody. He was crying because I believe he is witnessing his political ambitions just unraveling every day. And it started with the failure of the Palisades fire. And now with the hospice and the Medicaid, he is realizing he's never going to be president. But the most interesting part about all this is the epicenter of all this corruption and fraud is actually Los Angeles. And that is because you have a corrupt Mayor Basura and a terrible city council like Cynthia ramen who are running a mafia-like operation. And that's why I'm running for mayor of Los Angeles, to get in there and stop this operation.
Are you running for mayor because of the Palisades fire, Spencer, or because you're just angry that LA is such a freaking mess?
Once you experience what I did, total loss, your neighbors burning alive, and you see the corruption at the city level, and you saw nobody stepping up to stop these people, I didn't have a choice. It was either 4 more years of the city just being destroyed, 60,000 plus homeless, drug addict, lunatics covering the street, or I have to step in and stop this.
Yeah.
And so I made the choice to step in and say no more.
You talk about the lunatics. There's where we are right here. This would be in your area, right? If you were the mayor. 30 yards that way, there's a school. And when you come in, you see these kids walking out of school. 30 yards that way, there's a homeless encampment. And today, as you're coming in, there's a woman without any clothes walking around the homeless encampment. And you think, if you're a parent, you got to shake your head like, what is going on?
I have parents messaging me every day that they have to have their kids in the back seat staring at iPads, to not look out the window, to see the drug use, the nudity. It's psycho. And as mayor, I'm stopping all of it. We're going to enforce all the laws that exist. This should not be allowed. They're choosing to let the streets of Los Angeles look like this. So we're done.
100%. The key thing that he said, I think y'all need to take away from, they're choosing. They got money. They have resources. A ton of rich people live in LA. LA was a city that was flourishing at one point in time, and they just let these people out there. Every time I go to LA, I see homeless people shooting up drugs and hanging out like zombies. And last time I saw a lady naked washing a woo-ha in front of everybody. Flies going everywhere. You know how nasty that is? Looking down the barrel. I just happened to look over to the side, and I see the lady doing like this. I mean, breasts out, hoo-ha out. Why do people have to be subjected to that? Why? Especially in a city like LA. I also saw people stealing stuff from Home Depot. They had a whole wall full of power tools, and they marked it Home Depot and Lowe's or something. It was 2 different places. Like they got a marketplace of stolen stuff just out. Cops driving by, ain't nobody care. Why do anybody want to live in a city like that when you don't have to? All right, we got a couple more clips, and then we're going to move to the next topic. Clip 205 with him on Adam Carolla's show. Roll it.
We don't have anybody in LA that fights Sacramento. And these dreams in Sacramento become nightmares of Los Angeles. They have these utopian versions of how we should live in Los Angeles, but nobody fights them in Sacramento. And again, as mayor, I want to be in their I'm going to be on their territory. Let me tell you, I'm not just going to be fighting the city council. We need to fight whoever's the new governor. I may have to fight that person. The lieutenant governor, I'm going to have to fight that person. I'm going to have to fight these lawmakers, because all these things they're doing are destroying Los Angeles. And no one from LA goes to Sacramento and fights these imaginary politicians.
No, Karen Bass.
All right, let's get to the next one. This next clip of how he's going to hold them accountable. Roll the clip.
I see many neighbors are full of trash. They also request on 311 app, and sometimes 3 months and they never show up. And this is not a lie, because they send me the request and I go and clean up. So people are tired. How do you think you can have a system that works properly and fast?
So I've already created, and I have the test model on my phone. I created an app that will replace 311 that actually has accountability. And eventually the app would merge into the city dashboards if people want to use the app, or if they just want to go on the city website. But what the app will do is it will show wherever you are in the city, and you open it up and you film whatever you want, it's going to geo-stamp it, and it's going to create accountability to all the people that are responsible. It'll automatically email them, and then it'll show their track record of their response time, their failures, so that we see as voters and constituents our city council members, and they'll be ranked and rated like how a restaurant gets a whole Yelp and a call. Why are our city council members not held to the same expectations that my mom will hold the place getting her spinach artichoke dip, where this city council member has the worst response times? They ignore everything, where this one, like the one you mentioned, Rodriguez, with the trash, people look at her and, oh, she cleaned the trash. She did that. She worked with Juan. She should get credit for that. not just be bunched in, oh, the city's failing. There are maybe our people that are working, and we need to make that system have accountability.
I like it. I don't even live in California. If they did the right thing, I may consider getting a house in Newport Beach. If I can afford it, I would. That place is nice out there, and it's like conservative. It's not like the rest of the hellhole that California has become. Here's the last clip of Spencer Pratt and his supporters at a meeting, probably a fundraising dinner at somebody's house. Roll the clip.
I just want the Palisades in LA that we all had back. This is not I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here. I don't have some grand plan how we redo Los Angeles. We just want the Los Angeles that we know, that we grew up. If you grew up here, you know what it was. We want to be able to walk on our streets and feel safe. We don't want our kids to go to the park and have to smell fentanyl as they're going by with the strollers. We want women to be able to walk their cute little dogs on the sidewalk and not worry about getting attacked. We want kids to be able to go to school and be at the bus stop and not get punched in the face. So I'm not out here trying to do anything that anybody in this room doesn't want done. And they've chosen to not do this. And then we can do it. And all it takes is everybody in this room to be as passionate as I am and be angry. Because I am angry of what they've done to our city and to our lives that we've had. They've made everything more expensive, and they've taken away everything that we love about this city that made maybe paying more money worth it, and now it's not. So enough's enough. And just for anybody that doubts my commitment to this, I promise you, they have never, ever had anybody coming after them like I plan to. And we can win this. And it's about everyone stepping up. And I want to win on June 2nd. I'm not trying to go till November. We can get 51% of the vote on June 2nd. And that day, I become the mayor and we save Los Angeles. So,
boom. Everybody that live in Los Angeles, tell me what you think in the comment section. If you live in California, do you think this is a good idea? It is time that we get conservatives to run some of these cities and they will become great again.